etc., which affects all of us in different ways, especially people from the global south. We're affected by climate change a lot more than people actually know. So we are looking to do things. And actually, what I want to say is thank you to people like Karen. She's over there in the corner. And the Friends of the Earth as a whole, because this building is their building, and they've been here from the 1970s. And us coming now, we are hoping to kind of bridge that gap between race and climate, and try to hopefully educate our communities so the future is brighter than the past. I always say I'm quite optimistic as a person. People always say, "Oh, you don't know what we've been through, etc." But I always think there's still some hope there, you know. But anyway, let me not go into another tangent. But I can talk all day. But what I would say is, so what I would say is, this cafe, it's been opened because we are all fighting similar kind of battles. Like the Friends of the Earth, like people who are at the bookshop next door, the Brum Radio, people upstairs, people like John, etc., Paul from the Climate Justice Coalition, etc., Stand Up to Racism. Before I continue, what I would say is, this project, I'm just going to mention a few words. The idea is to learn the stories, the narratives from the pioneers from the past, and people obviously who are still alive. We haven't added anybody who's deceased, unfortunately. We are going to fill this room in the next upcoming months. And we are also doing something around young pioneers. So please bear that in mind and keep a lookout for them. There's people in this room who are doing work that we don't know about. We know who they are, and we will recognize them in the future. So please keep an eye and support the cafe. Yeah, so this is just a part of a 2-year project called Seeking the Pioneers. We're funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund. Thank you to them. They're not here today, of course, but we have to recognize that they paid for this. So thank you to them. You know?
No, we paid for this.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. They helped. Yeah.
I'm moving on.
Yes, moving on. So the people that you see here today, it's a 2-year project. It's going to be added to. There's so many names that people, when I speak to Mukhtar, etc., it says names. Jagwan says names, and they're not here. But we are going to recognize those people. So without further ado, I'd like to invite someone very special, someone who's had a history of activism for many, many years across many cities, across the whole country. So please, I'll give a warm welcome to Mukhtar Dar.
So firstly, I'd like to congratulate Brigg, Digbeth, Siobhan for having the vision and making it real and capturing the space. You know, in our communities, capturing space is so important. The Drum Art Centre, the Naya Centre, the Roundhouse, in all our communities, we created these spaces, we capture these spaces, and doing so, you create critical mass. And it's so important in Birmingham that we have an inclusive, welcoming space like this for progressive communities. And already you talked about the kind of groups that are already here. So congratulate Siobhan and Digbeth for having the vision and translating that into reality and opening this cafe. So I was asked about a couple of days ago, maybe last week or
Oh, really?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Okay. I've been so busy with the project I've got at the moment, right? And someone curated this exhibition. And this exhibition would not be. The good news is that they said to me, "Oh, there's 2 people going to help you." And Ibrahim. And Ibrahim was amazing in terms of the technical side of stuff, getting everything, you know, the people that were photographed, getting everything printed, getting the frames, going to IKEA, then spending the weekend, this weekend here, getting everything ready, putting it on the wall. And the other guy was Vinod. He was the DIY guy, and he said, you know, measure twice but cut once. And so he had a real eye for detail, and it's somebody who I think, with that, Siobhan and Jagon's vision, with that, the positive attitude of Vinod and Ibrahim, this would not have been possible. Now, we had a really interesting conversation today, which was about what is a pioneer? And many of the pioneers and the movements that we belong to, many of those people didn't want to be acknowledged. They were selfless heroes. Usually I just speak, but I've had to write the notes down, right, and read through the notes. So tonight is not just about the technical aspect of displaying photographs. It's about recognising pioneers who fought tirelessly against racism, pushing Birmingham towards becoming a truly anti-racist city. Whilst I was not involved in selecting the individuals featured in these photographs behind me, any selection process inevitably is subjective and is open to debate. That should not detract from the significance of the contributions, whether large or small, have been made by a collective movement to make our marginalised communities visible. It is a movement that has taken us from the margins to the centre, shedding light on the many struggles against racism. As we reflect on the contributions, we are confronted with a deeper question. How do you acknowledge these individuals without falling into the trap of glorifying them as isolated heroes, detached from the movements that they represent? When I worked at the Drum, I witnessed the birth of many awards and accolade ceremonies that have grown over the years. While recognition is important, sometimes these events can feel self-congratulatory, even performative. We must remember that within our communities, especially in marginalised, minoritized communities, there are countless unsung heroes and heroes who work quietly without seeking the spotlight. These are the individuals who have made lasting impacts, not for personal fame, but because they believed in justice in community and in collective action. Many of these unsung heroes resisted recognition. They viewed it not as a reward, but as a risk, something that could undermine the very the movement that they built. They resisted what they saw as the trappings of hyper-individualism and the cult of personality. This is where we encountered the dilemma, and this is the discussion that we had, and Siobhan said it'd be good if you could talk about this. Can we truly honour individuals for their contributions without overshadowing the movement itself? In today's world, we are increasingly caught up in the politics of individualism. Social media has created an environment where personal branding and visibility can often take precedence over real grassroots change. There is real danger here, one that confuses activism with performance, leadership, like the followers of movements with movements with moments. We must be careful not to elevate individual contributions to a status that eclipses the collective struggle. And yet we cannot deny that movements need individuals. Pioneers lead, they inspire, and they take action. The battle for social racial justice has been sustained by many, but it often begins with the courage of a few. These individuals remind us that change does not happen in a vacuum. It requires human action. But to celebrate these pioneers is not to indulge in hero worship. It is to honour their sacrifices, their dedication, and their refusal to let the world remain unjust. However, the way we recognise them matters. We live in a society where state honours and accolades like empire, honorary awards are often used to domesticate and pacify activism. These honours reward individuals, sometimes at the cost of co-opting their radical vision and turning it into something more comfortable for the status quo. In contrast, grassroots movements recognise their own recognition that is grounded in the community and based on shared struggle, not on individual validation. So what is it that makes a pioneer? What makes someone an unsung hero or a hero? It's not about public visibility or grand gestures. It's about dedication to a cause greater than oneself. Pioneers dedicate their lives to justice and equality, often at great personal cost. They don't seek the spotlight, but rather they work tirelessly in the service of the collective. Their contributions, whether large or small, are essential to the success of movements that they aim to dismantle systems of oppression. The people depicted in these photographs did not seek glory. They were part of something bigger than themselves, a movement that continues today. And while this exhibition does not claim to present a conclusive list of pioneers, It serves as a reminder to the countless individuals who have contributed to the fight for equality. Some are visible in these images, while many more remain unnamed, but are also part of the same struggle. Tonight, as we walk through this exhibition, let us remember that the true power of these pioneers not lies in their individual achievements, but in their collective vision. They remind us that change is possible when we work together, when we refuse to be divided, when we stand firm in the face of injustice. So let's applaud them, not as isolated figures, but as part of the larger movement they represent. Let us honour their politics, their struggles, and the communities they fought for. These pioneers, our heroes and sheroes, are not just historical figures to be admired from a distance. They are the living examples of what it means to fight for a better world. And it is this legacy, rooted in the collective, that we must carry forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, really powerful speech there, Mukhtar. I appreciate that. Honestly, for myself, it's been a real pleasure to work with people like Mukhtar, to work with people from our steering committee. Some of them are here tonight. People like Zoe. Zoe, where are you? She's gone. Oh, that's a good question. Where are you, right? But Zoe, she was really helpful. She helped so much on the day, on the weekend when we had people coming. She was supportive. People like Derek at the back, who's going to be part of the whole